Get involved with the Army?
Okay, when I went into service, you had to serve so much time in service. You either volunteered for the draft or you had to wait till you got drafted. And I volunteered for the draft, so I was in the Army for 2 years.
Okay, how did you get to Korea? By a plane or a boat?
I went on a ship, and it took approximately 28 days to go over.
How was your trip there like? Were there a lot of sicknesses on the boat?
The only people getting sick on the boat, it was a troop ship, and those were small ships at the time, and so a lot of people got seasick, but that was about the only disease that was on the ship.
When did you go to Korea? At what age?
I was 19 when I went to Korea.
Where were you stationed there?
I was stationed near Panmunjom
Was in North or South Korea?
in South Korea. The North Koreans were the enemies, and that's why we were there, to prevent them from coming into South Korea.
Okay, what was your role when you were there?
I worked in Signal Division, the 13th Signal Battalion of the 1st Cav Division.
So what did you do?
And basically, we did radio communications. We had to do testing with all the different units around South Korea to make sure everybody was okay and there was no enemy activity of any kind.
Okay. What kind of training did you have to do before you got over there?
I took two different schools. First we had basic training, which was at Fort Knox, Kentucky. And then I did some training in radio and telecommunications.
How did your family react when they found out you had to go to Korea?
I think they were sad, and it was hard being gone from home. We were over there 13 months, so it was hard.
How did you communicate with the Koreans?
The only Koreans that we really did communicate with were those that there were some South Korean Army, and then we also have what they call houseboys, and they were Koreans that came in and took care of cleaning our barracks.
Did they speak English?
Yep, spoke English very well.
When you were there, were there any attacks close by you?
There were several, and that's the reason we were there, is to prevent that from happening. Somebody would try to get over the borders into South Korea, and that was our job, was to prevent them from doing that. And there were some ambushes and some people killed.
Did you know anyone from the front lines or the armies that was a good friend of yours?
No, not really. We were kind of a backup. We were right near the front line, but we're not on the front line ourselves. Our 1st Cav Division that I was in.
While you were there, where did you sleep and what kind of conditions was it?
We slept in what were called Quonset huts. They were little metal buildings and metal sides, metal roof, and space heaters for heat. But it got very cold in the winter. North Korea was real cold in the winter. We had lots of blankets and heat cranked up as high as we could get it.
What kind of food did you eat?
Food was pretty good. We had the same kind of food you'd have back home in the United States. I mean, we had the regular chefs for the Army that prepared our food, and we had breakfast, dinner, and supper.
Could you have any communication back home?
No, the only communications were by mail.
Okay.
And if you didn't send it airmail, it took a long time to get a letter. So.
Were you happy to come back home, or did you enjoy your time in the Army?
I was very happy to come back home, but it was a good experience learning how people live in another country.
Okay.